Hi and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different because stiff shafts are all the same, aren't they? Doesn't matter, they're all stiff, so I'm just going to pick a stiff shaft with my clubs, order them online, and that'll be what I want. Or are they? I've got two stiff shafts today. I've got the Dynamic Gold True Temper S400 130 gram stiff, and I have the Nippon NS Pro Neo, and this is 98 gram stiff. Now, characteristics of these shafts: S400, low launch, low spin, heavy shaft. And then we have the Neo, which is mid to high launch, mid spin, and designed to get the ball up in the air, get more spin, better launch. So completely different ends of the shaft spectrum, but both stiff shafts. So today we're going to see if there's any difference at all. So I'm Lee Whitaker here at Ashbury Hotels Golf Resort, and in my fitness studio today I'm going to be doing this test. Now the club I'm using is the Strixon ZX5. I'm using this because I'm really impressed with it, and it's a contender to go in the bag this year, so I've put this head onto these two shafts, so it's a way of me kind of seeing which shaft would work for me at the same time. And I'm going to hit 15 shots with each one. Now I've already hit 10 with each shaft before I started filming. I alternated, did 5 with this, 5 with this, 5 with this, 5 with this, and I warmed up prior to try and give this sort of test as fair of a comparison as I can. I appreciate 15 shots is a small baseline, but hopefully it's enough to show if there's any difference, there might not be, between the two shafts. It may just come down to what feels better for me, but it'd be interesting to see if there's any difference in the characteristics. So I'm going to get onto quad. I'm going to hit 5 shots with each. I've loaded up a hole. The green is 189 yards away. This is a strong 7-iron. I think it's 30 degrees, 31 degrees possibly, so it's a strong 7-iron. So I've put the green out at 189 yards, and I'm going to have 5 shots with the S400 first, then I'm going to do 5 shots with the Neo, and then we'll have a look at the data at the end. Let's get to it. Right, S400 to start, a shaft I'm used to, and if you find, normally if you go into sort of a shop, a high street store, most of the time when you see a stiff shaft, it's an S400. If you see a reg shaft, it's an R300. They seem to be the default shafts for stiff and reg. So I'm testing today to see if buying those shafts are good for you, or whether you should get fitted. Well, you should always get fitted, but to see if there's a better option for you. So for me, S400 feels heavy. It feels like a good weight for me, but it's all in the performance. Right, last one with the S400 shaft. Really good strike. So that's 15 with the S400 shaft. I'm going to change it out now, put 5 more shots with the Neo, and then we'll have a look at the data. Right, 5 more with the Neo. Compared to the S400, this now feels really light, but it is 32 grams lighter, so it's going to. Not sure how that equates, but for me, in the test I've done so far, the S400 feels like a better shaft for me. I feel like I can time it better, and it just feels a little bit more stable for me. But let's hit these 5 and then check the data out. Right, last one with the Neo, and then we shall check the numbers. That was quite a good shot, quite a good strike to finish off with. Just left it out to the right a bit. Okay, that's 15 shots with each. Let's check the numbers out. Right, let's check the numbers out then. So 15 shots with each one. Ball speed first, 123.3 off the Neo, 125.4 off the S400, so a little bit faster ball speed. Launch angle is exactly the same, considering one's a low launch, low spin, and the other is a mid launch, better spin. They are launching at exactly the same. There's nothing in it. Backspin is, there's a 400 difference between the two, so the Neo is spinning slightly higher, but there is a standard deviation there, so they are going to blend into each other. The spin as an average, I'm getting more with the Neo, but there's next to nothing in it really when it comes to kind of spin. Carry distance, however, I'm gaining 5 yards with the S400, and that is because of the spin and a little bit of the faster ball speed, so I am gaining 5 yards over the Neo. Club data, a little bit more efficient with the S400. Head speed is down a little bit, but it's to be expected. It's a little bit heavier shaft. Dynamic loft at impact is exactly the same. Dynamic lie is borderline the same. And the path and the attack angle are pretty much the same. And the strike location is the same, really. I'm hitting it quite low in the face today, but you know, that's just one of those days, really. And if you look at the ball flight here, the peak heights are almost the same. If anything, the S400 is going slightly higher than the Neo. It just peaks out a little bit higher, but the attack angle is almost the same. So in essence, on this test, I'm gaining 5 yards with the S400 over the Neo. Okay, so conclusion then. There is not a lot between these, let's be perfectly honest. I can get this out, the Neo out at 190, I can get this out at 190. They are pretty similar. The standard deviations blend into each other, so there's not a lot in it. But over an average of 15 shots, which is, you know, that's a fair amount of shots to be able to test it with, the S400 is giving me, that's the S400 there, is giving me an average of 5 extra yards. It's giving me better ball speed, exactly the same launch. It's just the only thing for me with this one is the spin is down on it. So it's down by 400 revs compared to the Neo. But then again, the standard deviation again is blending themselves into each other. So there's not a lot in it in the grand scheme of things. It is so strike dependent. It is unbelievable when you do these sort of things. But on a test of 15 shots with each one, for me, you know, I can't give up 5 yards. A lot of it's down to feel. For me, the S400 feels better. I prefer the weight of it compared to the Neo. This makes the head feel pretty heavy, and I don't really like that in an iron. I like it in a wedge, but I don't really like it in an iron. So if that data was put in front of me, it depends what you want. Basically, it all depends what you want as to which shaft works for you. For me, for my speed, for my launch conditions and everything I've just done, I'm not going to give up 5 yards and a bit of a higher peak height as an average to the Neo. I'm going to play the S400 all day. But if I had gone out, bought a club, I mean, it's lucky because most of them got the S400 in anyway, but if I'd have gone out and bought this on the internet and said, oh, you know what, I'm just going to, or picked it up off a shelf in a shop, I'm just going to take the Neo because it's a stiff and all stiffs are the same. I've pretty much given myself, I've lost 5 yards for not getting fit, in essence. But the reality is I could probably do this test tomorrow and maybe get completely different results, which is why I've alternated between 5 shots with each, and I've tried to do it as much as I can, but what I can't do is stay in here all day and just do 150, 200 shots to see it. It's, you know, it's just not feasible. But it does show there are slight differences between actual stiff shaft. Right, I hope you've enjoyed that video and maybe learned something from it. You know, there are slight nuances with shafts. There are different launches, different kick points, and different shafts work for different people. Don't just think a stiff is a stiff, a reg is a reg, etc., etc. It's just not the case. Otherwise, there would just be one stiff, one reg, and one extra stiff shaft, and everybody would be using it. If you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button down below. It does mean a lot to me. We are closing in on 6,000 subscribers, which would be fantastic. If we can get to there by, you know, the next couple of weeks, it would be amazing. Please comment down below what you think of this test, what you think of shafts. Do you just believe that a shaft is a shaft and they all do the same job? And also give this video a like, it'd be much appreciated. But otherwise, I've been Lee here down at Ashbury, and I will see you all in the next video.